This is First Up with Kane Corns. I'm Sarah, Olle, and Kane, what an unexpected finish to this third iteration of Gather Round. Port Adelaide, would you believe, silencing and stunning Hawthorn. Did you see it coming?
I did not see it coming. I believe it now. But what about the start and what about the build-up to this game where both teams sit around for the whole weekend and watch everyone else go at it? And then this is what Port Adelaide produced. Look at those first half stats, the disposals, the contested footy, the clearance work after being so poor. And I volcanoed them last week for their work against the Saints in the midfield. What a response. And then their forwards look so dangerous, led by their smalls with Richards and Pepper and Rioli, and here's some of that work at the start.
It was incredible, wasn't it, from the word go? It was such a shock given the byplay between these two teams that extends back to last year's final series. But Hawthorn had the bye and they looked like they were still on the bye, Kane.
Yeah, 15 days off they had, so maybe they just sat back and enjoyed their own work. 4-0. That man, Connor Rosie, Ken Hinkley said before the game, we've got a surprise. Well, that was the surprise, and he nailed 2 first half goals after starting across half back. So he'd been down on form the last 2 weeks, he'd been targeted by the opposition, and a great response. But Hawthorn was so rattled, like the captain Sicily was rattled and the rest of the group were rattled. They turned the footy over and Port Adelaide punished them.
I thought the leaders really set the tone early. You mentioned the captain, Connor Rosie, but also Zach Butters, who's kind of the spiritual leader of this group. They were sensational.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Butters' second game back. So for him to come and do this after a limited preparation, just enormous. He had a heap of the footy last week, didn't use it as well. And Rosie actually was drafted as a half-back. He played in the grand final for North Adelaide and had played some good football there. We hadn't seen it at AFL level. I thought they might have done it last year with Houston out when he got suspended, but it's taken them some time, and what an impact that he had. And I just thought it made the midfield more balanced because of the 3 guns that they've got. You spread it out a bit more, and this sort of stuff here with Butters to that man, Horn Francis, is there a better side in football than that?
You mentioned some of the tricks that Ken Hinkley, well, he teased us with them. He had some in his kit bag. I thought another one was sending Sam Pepper to the Hawks skipper, James Sicily. What did you make of the move?
Well, I was wondering who was going to be the one in the face of the opposition. It had to be Butters or Sam Pepper, and I mean, what a result. Like the contest stuff that he was able to win early, and I just thought, Sicily let himself down in the first half. There's no doubt about that with that sort of stuff, and Pepper leading him to the ball in the contest that he lost, but also some of his ball use. And as soon as you're forced to push him forward, I think that Ken Hinkley going back and say, well, that's a win. Like Sicily is such a great interceptor and ball user and distributor. He's gone forward sort of halfway through the second term, and that was a huge win for them in the coach's box.
Sam Pepper is one of Ken Hinkley's favourite players, isn't he? And he certainly responded because we know that Port Adelaide they're under pressure, but he played such a big role, and there was plenty of biff throughout this game. It's turning into one of the best rivalries in the AFL, isn't it, Kane?
Yeah.
A legitimate rivalry, spot fires everywhere.
Everywhere. And I think like Hawthorn tried to play it down during the week and in the lead up to this. The AFL didn't, and we didn't. What about that from Rioli, showing the footy? You don't see that very often, and CJ gives away a double goal, so the free kick from the top of the goal square, and that's just another sign that, there are some chinks in this Hawthorn armour. We've seen them as the best team in it since round 5 last year, but they were vulnerable tonight. Port Adelaide got under their skin, and I think if you're prepared to give it out like they have, and the selfies and the social media and the goal celebrations, but you can't cop it, then there's a few other teams looking and going, okay, maybe there is a weakness.
Do we give them a mulligan, Hawthorn? We know Will Day, he's so important for them. I think they've gone 0-6 without him over the past 12 months. But we did mention the bye, and they just look so flat-footed.
Yeah, no, it's really hard to be up for that long. And they've been up for a long period of time. We're not talking this year, we're talking right back until sort of they lost the first 5 last year. And they've been the best team since that. So I think their second half showed some good signs, and they hung around and they kept in it and they didn't give it up or turn their toes up. But there's no doubt there's some opposition teams going, okay, there's a few weaknesses that Port Adelaide have exposed.
Is it a wake-up call, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And it might not be the worst thing for them. Geelong, Easter Monday is a big game. Their draw gets a little bit easier for them. So it might not be a bad thing for them what happened tonight.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.